Hey everyone, and welcome to the Dota 2 Builds of the Week, the weekly series where I show you guys top 5 meta builds to help you get started with new heroes in Dota 2. As always, a link to my Twitch is down in the description below, and I welcome you to join our wonderful community live. With that being said, we're getting started with position 1, Riki. Riki is seeing an increased amount of play in the current patch, and that is for good reason. He has seen an increase in his win rate primarily because, well, of his build relying on a key item, the Diffusal Blade. Now, Diffusal Blade, in theory, got nerfed a bit. You lost some agility off it. But you're looking at a significantly faster timing now because it's significantly less expensive. And that, for Riki, makes all the difference. Because at your timing at level 8, where you're able to get your value point and smokescreen, you should be near finishing Diffusal Blade, maybe a little later, but around the timing there, it allows you to get active much faster because Riki does not farm effectively. Outside of the laning stage, he's not a good flash farmer in the jungle. Once you get Diffusal Blade and you got your value point and smokescreen, you want to go and you want to start taking enemies down. So you want to be very active as a Riki, and the earlier timing on Diffusal Blade is allowing him to do exactly that. The current meta has him building a double Wraith Band for that 25-minute burst in attribute timing. He is already a high armor hero, which is really beneficial. So if you're against a lot of physical damage, it helps him to sustain a little bit there. And then you're going to go into your Manta, which allows you to dispel Dust of Appearance. From there, a couple optional items I want to kind of note here. He does benefit from Magic Wand. He does not have good mana regeneration or anything like that. And once you start really comboing all his abilities, you kind of run out of mana very fast. The other thing is he's susceptible to Magical Burst, so raindrops can be very useful, and the mana regeneration is valuable as well. Orbital Corrosion is great. You get a little bit of extra HP, of course, and the slow helps people to get locked down in the smoke screen. With that being said, once you're done Manta, it's up to you to decide which extension item makes the most sense for your game. And now let's talk about position number 2. It seems as though with every major patch, Huskar seems to jump back into the meta for a bit. He gets a few buffs, he gets changed around, and he starts to do work from mid. Now, Huskar mid is actually pretty strong right now and worth trying. And if you're a brand new hero to the game, he's one of the more easier heroes to pilot. He man fights, like he's one of the best man fighters in the game. You just 1v1 somebody and usually you win. Huskar is a really good hero right now and worth trying. And essentially his build is, it's pretty locked solid in terms of like what pros are doing right now. You're taking your value point and inner fire. It's just too good from like a disarm standpoint. It does damage. It's just good, and it helps the distance, especially from melee heroes. You're taking Berserker's Blood. You just need it. You're taking those 2 value points, and then you're focusing on Burning Spears. Remember, the damage does stack, so you want to get as much as you can, as rapidly as you can, with Life Break at level 6. Once you get Life Break, you can basically start roaming, jumping on guys, taking them down. It's also worth noting you could also delay Life Break to level 7 if you wish to take Berserker's Blood earlier if you're sticking around in mid. If you're not moving around too much, you can actually delay this by a level or 2. In terms of itemization, early Bracer is being built on him right now. You're taking that early Bracer into one fast armlet, focusing in on the Helm of Iron Will for the armor and regeneration as well. Boots into Halberd. Halberd is basically being built unilaterally across Huskar games right now. The evasion's great, and it also gives him an opportunity to 1v1 people where they can't even attack him back. So once he drops down to the health he wants to be at, he's attacking super rapidly, he disarms them, and they can't even do anything. So it's really neat. It also gives him a lot of added survivability with the evasion as well, because remember, he likes to hover at low health, right? So that burst potential is very significant. And from there, BKB into his Aghanim Scepter, which makes his life break like a complete nightmare to deal with and forces them to attack him. There's like a taunt effect, which is why you saw a lot of people building Blade Mail in conjunction with his Aghanim Scepter. But regardless, Huskar back in the mid meta. If you've been playing at all since the patch, you most certainly have encountered Necrophos. Necrophos is one of the heroes that has seen significant changes, nothing crazy, but he's seen some major changes that have completely changed the way people are approaching Necrophos as a hero in the game, specifically from the offlane role. And what you're seeing is builds that revolve around his ability to be borderline unkillable. So basically they changed Reaper's Scythe to basically give him permanent HP and mana regeneration, which is pretty damn cool, especially when you consider the amount of healing he can do, and and the itemization that you can choose. He becomes an absolute nightmare to deal with. And the current build around Necrophos is taking Death Pulse, like trying to basically kind of get it up ASAP. If you're against right clickers, you might want to take an earlier point and Ghost Shroud, maybe at level 4. But if not, taking it at 7 is fine as well. But regardless, you're basically moving, you're getting kills on cooldown with Reaper's Scythe. Like, it's that good. And your itemization, like you're focusing on the cast range. The strength is good. but you just want to get guys with Reaper Scythe when you can, right? From there, you are taking magic resistance. You're building Hood of Defiance. Remember, you have to defend yourself from the Ghost Shroud situation a little bit. So, you know, your Hood of Defiance, the magic resistance helps there. And then you're taking Kaya's Sange, getting that extra strength, getting that amplifications that you really need. Lifesteal amplification, spell amp. Like, there's so much to love about Kaya's Sange on this hero. And then into his Shard, which gives him basically a targetable free death pulse that can spread to other heroes while making them ethereal as well, which is awesome because you cast that onto somebody and then you hit him with Reaper Scythe, right? So it does even more damage, which is great. Other items, depending on the type of game you're in, Boots of Travel, he's really slow and kind of like immobile, so Boots of Travel let him kind of have a greater presence in fights. People love Greaves on him. You utilize Greaves with Ghost Shroud. You're going to have Restoration Amplification. If you are being silenced, you need Yule Scepter, Ghost Orb, not Ghost Orb, Lotus Orb, sorry, and Heart of Tarask, Shiva's, Blink Dagger, Lincoln's, Radiance. These are all like greedier items. Radiance, like, I know you want to love Radiance with Heartstopper Aura, but probably a lower win rate item than people would like to believe on someone like Offlane Necro, even though you love it. But regardless of that, guys, Necro, really hot in the meta right now. You got to try him. He's one of the best offlaners. He's going to get nerfed, so try him while you can. Now, here's a hero we don't get to talk about as much as I would like. I absolutely love Keeper of the Light, and I am so happy that he got a couple buffs, a couple changes to really make him a little more viable in pubs, especially in new player games, where you can like super effectively push waves and create tons of map pressure with an extremely fast mobile hero with an amazing wave clear. And the build up is really interesting now because there's some experimentation here, and let's talk about it, okay? So basically, Keeper of the Light position 4 revolves around taking as much Illuminate as you can, maxing it out as soon as you can. Heroes getting hit by this, like, they take so much damage. And once your carry like goes to the jungle or, you know, gives up the lane or something, you can like effectively push that lane and create so much lane pressure from a safe distance. Keeper is such a great tower defender. He's unbelievable. Chakra Magic, obviously fantastic as well. And his level 20, being able to dispel is incredible. It's so useful. Solar Bind's good as well. But regardless, the major thing about his build that I want you to be aware of is there's a lot of experimentation around this like team fight centric Keeper of the Light, where you're basically getting a lot of farm because you're pushing waves and you're defending towers, and you're building tranquils, drums into eggs, okay, into the eggs first, because it is like the Will-O-Wisp is so valuable for team fights, so valuable. It's such a good team fight skill. And then you finish the Boots of Bearing, Bongo Boots, and what you're gonna have here is an amazing low cooldown team fight ultimate, Will-O-Wisp. You're going to have Boots of Bearing, which is going to help your team tremendously. And then from there, you decide like which support items you really need. Like, I know this looks simple, but like this is expensive. This is an expensive run up. Like, you are very unlikely to buy anything outside of the Boots of Bearing and Eggs. Like, it's an expensive run up, but Yule's Glimmer, Aeon Disc, and like we can add more to this as well, like even, you know, something like Lotus Orb if you're position 4. But realistically, the major goal is to get these two items right here and team fight with your team while protecting your towers and keeping objectives safe. Keeper of the Light is back in the meta, and honestly, I'm gonna be playing him a lot on stream because he is a ton of fun right now. You gotta try him. The last time we talked about Undying, we were talking about Offlane Undying. He's one of those heroes that gets so much like experimentation, and now he's back as a support, position 5 and 4. And what you're seeing now is a build revolving around Tombstone, but most importantly, team fighting. Similar to Keeper of the Light, you are building towards these Bongo Boots, right? But they're expensive, they are. But the difference between Keeper and a position 5 Undying is that you don't need the eggs for Undying. You need just to get the Bongo Boots. And so what you're doing here is you're building these 3 items, getting to those Bongo Boots, and then you're making a choice once you finish your Bongo Boots. What does this game need? Do we need Lotus Orb? Do we need a vessel? If you need a vessel, you should have built an urn before you built the drums, honestly. But, you know, do you need Force Staff? You make a choice based on the game situation, but you are going to try and get to your Bongo Boots as fast as you can, and from there, making a selection. Now, with that being said, let's be honest, this is expensive. It's a $1,500 recipe as of recording. So if you finish your drums and you realize that we really need a Force Staff, we're against a Slark, we need to break leash, right? Then you get your Force Staff and then you finish your Bongo Boots. Like, you have to do that thinking, right? But regardless of that, Undying position 5 is in a pretty cool spot right now. The Bongo Boots is I can't believe how much utility this item is creating for so many different heroes. Thank you so much for watching, and a very special thank you to all of our wonderful subscribers. Guys, we'll see you in the next video.